I haven't met a single dad romance I haven't enjoyed. Hi besties, happy February. One of my New Year's resolutions for this year was to actually start a YouTube channel because I've been talking about it and wanting to do it for so long, and I thought, what better video to make my first than a January wrap up. Get the year started off on a good note, and boy do I have some good books to tell you about. So let's get into everything I read this month. I think we're gonna start with two of my most anticipated reads for the year, which were Jasper Vale by Devney Perry and Whispers of You by Catherine Cowles. I got ARCs for both of these, and they both ended up being 5-star reads for me. I loved them both so much. Jasper Vale is book 4 in the Edens by Devney Perry, but they can all technically be read as a standalone, but I love the entire series so much. It has such a special place in my heart, so I definitely recommend reading them all at some point. Jasper Vale is an accidental marriage in Vegas book between Eloise, who's an Eden, and Jasper, who is Foster's best friend from Garnet Flats. And they get married in Vegas, and they're like, okay, we gotta sort this out. But they both get back to Quincy. They're like, we could use this to our advantage. So they decide to stay in a marriage of convenience until they can both use it to their advantage. They end up moving in together, and then you know how that goes. I loved this one so much. There was a little bit of suspense, like all of Devney Perry's books, and I love that. And they were just like, each Eden's book is so unique, and this one, in my humble opinion, was just like the epitome of a good opposites attract romance, where they both are so different and they love each other exactly for that. Like, I just related so hard to Eloise, and she really wanted to be a people pleaser and change herself, do whatever she could to make people love her and be proud of her. And Jasper came in and was like, no, you're perfect the way that you are. Don't change a thing. And it was so cute. There were so many my wife moments. It was adorable. And seeing him stand up to the Edens was like bittersweet, because I was like, I love them, but yes, stand up to them. They're being mean to Eloise. So 5 stars, loved it, and I cannot wait for Crimson River. Whispers of You is book 1 in Catherine Cowles' new Lost and Found series. So we have a new small town, we have a new journey. And book 1 is a second chance romance between Holt and Wren. They were like high school sweethearts, ready to have the best future ever, totally in love. And then tragedy strikes. This book takes place 10 years later. Holt is back in town and their old feelings resurface. They're able to get over their past between the two of them, but external factors from their past come lurking around the corner. Catherine is an absolute master of romantic suspense. Like, her books are so interesting, and she balances it perfectly because the book is so like mysterious and dark and twisty, but the relationships are always so pure and sweet and like wholesome. So it's the perfect balance, and I'm so excited for the rest of the series, and easy 5 stars for me. Another highly anticipated read for me, my book club book of the month. If you don't know, I have a book club on Fable. We read Two Wrongs Make a Right by Chloe Leese, and I am a super fan of her. I love the Bergman Brothers series. I eat up whatever she puts out. She is a master. She always has quirky, lovable characters and a delicious slow burn, and this book was no exception. 5 stars for me. It's opposites attract. Again, like Jasper Vale, it's opposites attract, where like they just balance each other out so perfectly, and I was just so obsessed with this book. Next, I read 3 complete series in February. In January, I read the Wolf Hotel series by K.A. Tucker, and I did not love it. I did not love it, guys. I can see the appeal. It is like a billionaire hotel owner. She is a small town girl who takes a chance and applies to work at his hotel in Alaska, and he sees her application and like handpicks her to work with him. So again, opposites attract. She's innocent, he's experienced. It was book 1 and just book 4. I think it would have been like a 4.5, 5 stars for me. I felt the 2 middle books were so unnecessary and like only served to make me root against the couple. And I didn't really feel their connection until book 4. And also there's like a weird amount of body shaming in books 2 and 3. It just really threw me off and kind of took me out of the book. I think I would rate the overall series like a 3.5, 4 stars. I think other people would really like it. I know a lot of my friends really like it. It just was not really for me. I also read the Psycho Shifter series by Jasmine Moss. This is a 3-book Why Choose Shifter Omegaverse fantasy romance series. And it was just fun. It's not a complicated fantasy. It's like a little bit of everything. It's super slow burn, lots of tension between the female main character and the male main characters. The dialogue is really similar to how kind of we talk in the real world, so it was super easy to read and understand. Like, it's a really accessible series, and it was just fun. I thought, like, I wish we had gotten more of the relationship with them being happy and like living together, being together at the end, because that felt a little rushed, and I wish there was like maybe 1 or 2 plot twists taken out to add that back in. But overall, it was just like a fun change of pace. And I'm really excited because the female main character's best friend is getting a book in February or March. And I'm so excited because they were hilarious. So I really enjoyed reading that. And then, guys, you can go back in my Goodreads history and see if I'm being truthful. I've started the Devil series and finished it by Elizabeth Overwork. And I started with The Devil You Know, which is book 3, but they can all be read as standalones. And mark my words, I said this is already going to be one of my favorite reads for the year. And that applies to the entire series. It swept me away, all 5 stars. It's 4 books, interconnected standalones. They're all different relationships, but they all have similar tropes where like the boy has been pining after her, but the girl thinks they're enemies. The banter in these books is exceptional, like top tier, had me actually laughing, smiling, giggling, having the best time. The tension, unmatched. I was like tearing through the pages waiting for these couples to actually kiss because I was dying for it. The way I was rooting for these couples, oh my God. The men are all rich, they're obsessed, they're caring, they're incredible. Such a good series. I cannot recommend it enough. I already knew from reading that first book that it was going to be one of my favorite series of the entire year. I also finished Lily Gold's backlist. So I read Faking with Benefits last year. So in January, I read 3 Swedish Mountain Men, Nanny for the Neighbors, and Triple Duty Bodyguards. Triple Duty Bodyguards was a 4.25 stars for me. I really loved it, but the main character was like hit or miss for me. And Nanny for the Neighbors and 3 Swedish Mountain Men were easily 5 stars. I think 3 Swedish Mountain might be my favorite of her books. That or Nanny for the Neighbors. I don't know. They were both exceptional. You don't see a lot of Why Choose romances that are not dark or fantasy or anything like that, and these are just so fun to read. I finished Devney Perry's Lark Cove series in January with Timeless. She is basically a workaholic girl boss, and he is a local police officer who meets through her sister because her sister got mugged and he was on the case. And it's kind of opposites attract, and he just like pulls her out of her world and gets her to open up. And it was an adorable little novella. 5 stars for me. I love this whole series. It's definitely a comfort series for me. I also read Torn by Carrie Cole. I started this one in 2022 and finally finished it in January. It was a 5 stars for me. It is a forbidden dad's best friend, kind of uncle figure, taboo romance, age gap, all of that goodness. If you don't like that stuff, you are not gonna like this book at all. But if you are into that, it was so good. Their love for each other was so pure and incredible. It's slow burn, and the tension was like, when will they make the move? I was dying. Talia Hibbert released her first ever YA book in January called Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute, and I got an arc of that and I really enjoyed it. I rated it 4.5 stars. It was so cute. The banter was really cute. It's kind of a friends to enemies to lovers book. They're also academic rivals. I think in my Goodreads review, I wrote that I highlighted something from almost every one of their conversations because the banter was really, really fun to read. And yeah, it was just a little fun read. I also have a new single dad favorite book from Julia Wolf. She released Where Waves Break in January, and it was so good. It was a single dad nanny romance. This had all of the amazing factors that every single dad nanny romance had, with forced proximity. Her relationship with his son was adorable. 5 stars. I also read Total Chaos by Nikki Ash, which is her 3rd book in her Love and Lyrics series, which is a rock star romance series following a band and all the different members. This is a brother's best friend book, but it's reverse age gap as well, and I've never read that before, so it was like a really interesting dynamic where he's been pining after her and she's like the hot older sister of his best friend for a really long time. This whole series is definitely a little darker. It tackles dark topics. It's angsty. And this one was 4 stars for me because I loved Declan. Like, his dedication and love for her was incredible. But Kendall, the main character, annoyed me a little bit towards the end. She had her reasons, but it's like a pet peeve of mine when a male love interest is so reassuring and does everything to show her that he is going to show up and be there, and the female main character is still like, I don't know. It really annoys me, but it was still a really good read. We're getting there. We're getting there. I read Made for Me by Natasha Madison. This is a hockey romance. They both exist in the same group, family friends. The main character's sister marries into this like hockey family, and the male main character is the hockey team's doctor, and he's also related to the family. I really liked this book. I gave it 4 stars. Julia, the main character, is a social worker, so a lot of the book is about this case she has that takes a really dark turn, and he like supports her through that. The only reason this wasn't a 5-star read for me was because a lot of their past and chemistry is more referred to rather than actually demonstrated. They kind of talk about how like they've both orbited around each other for years, they've been pining for years, but you don't really see that. But overall, it was a super quick read, very, very sweet romance between the two of them. A little heart-wrenching, just kind of take you through every emotion, and I can't wait for the rest of the hockey series. I also read Promise Me Always by A.L. Jackson that came out on January 30th. This is a single dad fake dating romance. This is a standalone in a series that A.L. Jackson writes, where the male main characters all work at this club that has like kind of darker ties, and Milo, the main character in this, used to fight in like underground fighting rings. His boss and the owner of the club dates the female main character Tessa's best friend, so that's kind of how they're connected. And Milo and Tessa both kind of have mutual crushes on each other, but have never said anything. Tessa has like a douchey boyfriend, and one night while they're out at a club, the boyfriend kind of interrupts girls' night and gets handsy with Tessa, so Milo steps in. When he's leaving the club later on, he finds her outside, just kind of in shock from what happened, and takes her to his house. Milo kind of helps her untangle herself from that situation, and Tessa is like, I need to help you as well, and Milo is in a custody battle for his kids. There's lots of drama, so they play fake fiance just to help him win custody back, but his other past kind of comes knocking at the door. I kind of like never knew where the story was going to go, and that just like kept me on my toes, and I really enjoyed it. I haven't met a single dad romance I haven't enjoyed. So this one was 4.25 stars for me. I also snuck in First Down by Grace Riley literally yesterday at the 11th hour, but I loved this one. This is a football player, tutor girl romance, fake dating, so she can have her cheating ex-boyfriend leave her the heck alone, and he needs a tutor so he can pass the class they're in. It was such a fun book. I gave it 4 stars or 4.25 stars. I think 4.25 stars. And it was just so cute. He gave me such Johnny from Binding 13 vibes. He was like so all in for her and was very much like, F the consequences. I will do whatever I can to help you and make sure you're happy and safe. And it was so cute. It also gave me kind of like a Cinderella story vibes with Hilary Duff, because he's like the rich football player and she's literally a diner girl. Everyone keeps telling me that the second book is even better and even spicier, so I'm so excited. And it's a hockey romance. Last but not least, I listened to 2 audiobooks. They were both 4 stars for me. I listened to Book Boyfriend by Claire Kingsley. Fun, quick listen. She is a romance book reader and blogger, and he is a romance book author who goes under a pen name, and they start dating, but they're pen pals online. spicy, cute, fun to read, and it's a pretty quick audiobook. I really liked it. And then I listened to Porn Star by Laurelyn Page and Sierra Simone. This one was really fun. It's a really fun listen, and I'm glad I listened because I don't think I would have liked the print book as much, but they're both porn stars, and they had worked together on a job years ago, and they both have never stopped thinking about each other. And years later, he contacts her to work on another project after seeing her at a party. Their chemistry was awesome. It was obviously spicy. The reason it was kind of 4 stars for me is because the third act conflict was like a little predictable and unnecessary in my humble opinion. But overall, it was a really fun, quick listen and definitely super entertaining. Yeah, those were my audiobooks for the month. And I think I listened to like 2 audiobooks total last year. So pretty good to listen to 2 in January. That was all 27 books I read in January. It was a really good month. February is a big month, guys. We got Powerless by Elsie Silver coming. We have The Right Move by Liz Tomford coming. I haven't read The Final Offer yet. Like, we have big things to do in February. The year is just going to get better and better, guys. So I will see you next video. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'm determined to stick to this YouTube channel. So if you have any video ideas, you can leave them down below. And don't forget to add me as a friend on Goodreads and follow me on TikTok and Instagram. Bye, guys.